Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of NinaRibena's Art Journal Prompts and More. It's the beginning of July and so time for a new prompt in the Facebook group. I just want to say though what a fantastic month it was last month for the Repeat After Me prompt. So many fantastic ideas again shared in the group. Well done everyone. I'm actually quite sad to see that one go. But you know, time for a new prompt, and this month the prompt is puzzled, and we're going to be doing ideas with kids puzzles and kids games. And the challenge for this week is domino pieces. I want you to reach for your dominoes. They're really, most of you will have a piece of dominoes or a pack of dominoes lying around the home, but they sell them in the pound shop, in most of the major supermarkets as well. I've got two sets here that I've had in my stash for probably a couple of years at least. This was bought from my local supermarket, and these are resin style domino pieces. And then I've got this set here which was just picked up from the pound shop, again quite a while ago, but these are just chipboard pieces. And if you really can't get out and lay your hands on some dominoes, then you could easily make something like this out of cereal boxes, or you know, just scrap cardboard. By the time we've decorated these, nobody would be any the wiser, so just use what you have. Anyway, let me have a tidy away and grab some supplies and we'll crack on. Working on this piece of domino here, and you can see I've already drilled 2 holes in the top and the bottom, and I've used my craft drill for this. This is just a cheap one from Lidl supermarket here in the UK. It's very similar to a Dremel drill, but if you want to make a piece of jewellery and you don't have a craft drill available, you can use a jewellery bale, which will do much the same thing. I'm just going to screw a couple of ends into the top and bottom of mine. They look like this. They're just picture framing hooks, so I've got those at the ready, but you could use a jewellery making bale. This is what it looks like here. They're very inexpensive. You can pick them up from eBay, and all you would do is just glue that on the back like that with some E6000 or even diamond glaze or glossy accents or something like that. I'm sure would be strong enough to hold it, and it just gives you the option then to thread a chain through. Of course you could make a pin if you wanted a piece of jewellery. I would use one of the flat back domino pieces for that, because this resin one here has got, I don't know whether you can see it, sort of like a raised pin. Now you might be able to get that off with some craft pliers, I don't know, craft snippers, I'm really not sure, but as I say, I'm going for the jewellery option, and I've got my holes drilled already. Now I want to give this a bit of a clean before I start doing anything else with it, so I've got some rubbing alcohol here just to get rid of any grease or fingerprints that might be on it. So I'm just going to go all the way over all the sides and edges and things. Let this dry, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Colour my domino, and I'm going to be using some Treasure Gold. You could use Inca Gold, any of those type of things. I picked this up from this scrap store a couple of weeks ago because it was just really cheap. I picked this up for £4.95. This is £30 a pot. It's just more shiny, I think, has got more gold element than Inca Gold, and of course, you know, many of you know my Inca Golds have now started to go a bit thick and stodgy, so I picked this up whilst they had it when I was in there. In fact, I didn't buy it the first time I saw it. I saw it, came home, did my research, and then the next time I was there I grabbed it quick when I realised what a bargain it was. As I say, I picked it up for £4.95 and it's £30 on Amazon. So I'm just going to go all the way over like this. Then I shall let this dry, and I'll probably give this another coat as well. And this will just give my piece a base. I'm just going to make sure that I concentrate on adding some around the edges too, like this. And then I shall give it a buff with a microfiber cloth. This might need a couple of coats, as I've said. Dried now, and I've just given it a bit of a buff with a microfiber cloth like this. So that's ready for me to work on now, and I want to use one of these decoupage images for my focal image. This is from a Cadence rice paper decoupage piece of paper, and I got this, the name of the company in the UK. I got it from eBay, and the company is called napkinshop.co.uk, but as I say, they do have an Etsy store called Napkin Shop, and they're a couple of pounds a sheet. You can see that I've used one already, and I'll show you that later. I think I'm going to use this image here, and so what I'm going to do is just fussy cut that out, well, roughly cut it first, just so that it's easier for me to apply it to my dominoes. So there we go, we'll put those to one side, and then what I'm going to do is grab another piece of dominoes. Here we go, this one here will do, and I'm just going to draw around my image. So I'm going to grab a pencil. Here we are. How do I want that to go? Something like that. I want her necklace in there, and I'm just going to draw a pencil line. I might need to use a white Stabilo, or actually you might not be able to see it, and then I'm just going to fussy cut that out. So I'm just going to cut on the inside of that line, just to make it easier to attach to my domino piece. I'll round the edges in a second, so I'm just going to go to the inside of that line, and then I can trim it if I need to. Let's have a look and see how that, oh, hang on, wrong piece, there we go. So it's still a bit big, so I'm just going to keep trimming that down. I want to trim around the edges, just round off those edges, and so I'm just going to keep working on that until it fits my piece. You can see my decoupage piece now fits my domino perfectly, and I'm just going to use some regular Mod Podge, matte Mod Podge, to stick this down. I'm using a piece of deli paper as well to work on, just to catch the excess glue. I don't want too thicker a layer, but just make sure that you apply your glue right to the edges as well, because you want this to stick nice and firmly. So there we go, that's a good layer of glue there. Stick that back in my water jar, and I'm going to stick this down as carefully as I can. Trying not to get any air bubbles. Oh, here comes Louis. So there you go, you can manoeuvre it slightly as well whilst it's still wet, but you want to get rid of any air bubbles before it dries. So I'm going to use my microfiber cloth again, just to carefully smooth that out. And you want to be careful with this, because remember, it's just decoupage paper, it's rice paper, and you don't want it to tear. Of course, you can use napkins for this, and you would need to be really, really careful with napkins because they are exceptionally delicate. So I'm just smoothing out any air bubbles, and I'm pressing down on the edges as well, just to make sure that it's glued nice and firmly in place. The image is now glued onto my dominoes, and that's nice and firmly secure, and I just want to frame it. I'm going to use some black Stays On ink just to add a frame just around my image, like this. I'm just going to do it on the one side so that the gold is still showing everywhere else. There we are. And I think that's added a really nice frame to that piece. Now disaster has struck. I just went to insert my little hooks, and one of them has snapped off in the bottom here. It happened to another one I made earlier as well, and I just think that these hooks are just not very good quality. I got them from B&Q, so not the end of the world. What I am going to do instead is put some of these pearl accents here. They're flatback pearl trims. What are they called? These are design gems. They're self-adhesive. I think I got them from the range, or you know, somewhere like that, or the works. I am going to put a little bit of glossy accents around the top first, just to sort of help them on their way, because I do find that with these self-adhesive things, they're not actually that sticky. And then let's take this off and we'll just put some around the side. How am I going to do this now? Let me just make sure that three will fit there, like that. Right, so I'm going to trim 3 off. Let's get rid of that. And so I'll put 3 across the top. Oh. There we are. And then I'm going to repeat it all the way around. So let's have a look. Let's see how many will fit onto this side section here. Let me just move that out of the way so that you can see, because of course I want it to be even. I reckon I can get all of those on, especially if I squish them up a bit. So again, I'll apply some Glossy Accents. So as I say, if you have an accident or something happens along the way, it quite often is not the end of your project. Let's just rub that in, stick that down. There we go. And that should hold that in place. And I'm just going to do the same around all the edges, and that has just added a really nice accent actually. So that could be a happy accident, couldn't it? Glued onto my pendants. I just think that's so pretty. There you go. Isn't that a nice finish? I just love that. So there we go, we've been able to fix where I have my oopsie in the top. So I'm going to add some bails, and my E6000 has dried up, so I'm going to use some Yoo-hoo glue instead. So I'm just going to apply a little bit, there we go, into the top there. It dries nice and clear anyway, so let me just get that the right way round, and I'm just going to apply it there. A bit will spill out of the edges, but it dries clear, and I will try and clear that up. Let me just grab some rubbing alcohol and I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try and wipe away some of that excess glue. I'm going to pour a little bit into the lid of my container there. Use a Q-tip and just try and get rid of some of it. There we go. Let's grab a microfiber cloth. Whoops, I want to make sure that I still keep my bail in place, just because I like it being nice and neat. Position that in place, and then I'm just going to set that as it is off to the side to dry. The glue's nearly dry on my bails, and I just think these look so neat and tidy. I'm really happy with those. Now I really wanted to give them a coat of Glossy Accents, but because my backs aren't stable, it's just going to slide off all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a bit of Glossy Accents to this piece of deli paper here. And I am going to coat them, but I'm just going to give it a really thin coat. I'm nearly at the end of my Glossy Accents too, so I hope I've got enough. We'll do one first and see, and I might have to resort to a different type of glue, but I'm just going to apply a thin coat of Glossy Accents all over the decoupage paper, just being really neat about it and making sure that I only get it on the paper itself, and of course this will seal it and just give it a nice gloss finish. So I'm just going to go over with a really thin layer of glue like this, and of course this will dry quicker as well than if I'd added a dimensional layer. There we are. And I'm going to see if I can squeeze any more out and do the other one. So here's my finished domino pieces, and as you can see I've made another one. I did the one in the centre slightly differently because I applied the treasure gold on the back and around the sides, but I left the front cream. Then I gave it a quick sand with an emery board and applied the image in the same way as I did for the other two, and of course this one's come out much lighter in colour. I do still really like these two though. They've just got more of a grungy feel, and I think these are sort of more autumnal, wintry in feel, and this one is more summery. I've also added the cream colour, white coloured pearls, whereas these ones have got sort of like a pinkish tone to them. But I like all three of those, I've also added dimensional glue to this one, and I overcame the problem of the dimpled bit in the middle by applying it, sitting it on top of the bottle lid like this, and applying the glue so that it laid nice and flat. So of course these two have just got a thin layer of Glossy Accents, and that one's got the full on dimensional glue, so you can see the difference here. This one is just more shiny. Now it doesn't bother me the fact that I've got gold and silver going on together. A lot of my jewellery is white gold and yellow gold anyway, so you know, that kind of thing just doesn't bother me. But all of these jewellery findings, you know, come in lots of different colourways anyway. So I will just add a simple silver chain through these, and you know, they're great to give away as gifts. Now, if you don't want to do an item of jewellery, there are lots and lots of ideas for domino pieces, domino art on Pinterest, and if you Google it as well. So I look forward to seeing how everyone else decides to interpret this week's challenge, Dominoes. I will be back next week with another challenge for us to try as well for the puzzled prompt this month. So I hope you'll enjoy taking part. If you enjoyed this video, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, then, you know, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to press the bell if you want notifications of future videos. I hope you enjoy the challenge this week, and take care everyone. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.